In today's video, I'm going to talk about something that one of my friends called her actual nightmare. And it has to do with these strange laboratory type facilities that were discovered in California and in Nevada. And it's back in the news again because of a Los Angeles Times story. So, what's the story? So, in 2023, a code officer in Reedley, California, which is a suburb of Fresno, was inspecting a warehouse. And she uncovered vials of liquid that were labeled with labels that said HIV, Ebola, malaria, COVID, and lots of laboratory mice. And it turns out that this laboratory was being run by a Chinese national who was a fugitive or wanted in Canada for some issues in the cattle industry, who had applied for asylum. There's a lot of legal issues here. I don't know all the details. But what they did is they found all of these bottles labeled. It's unclear whether they actually had things like HIV and Ebola in them. But what seems to be the case is that they were manufacturing COVID tests or selling COVID tests that were manufactured in China and saying that they were made in the United States and trying to make money that way. And this person gets arrested and is charged with certain crimes, puts up a house in Las Vegas as collateral. That house where someone from Israel is renting or is living there also has these similar types of laboratory samples there, all labeled with multiple different types of pathogens. And that's cleared out. And what happens is there's a congressional investigation where they find out that, yes, this is like some fraudulent operation, but there's also payments going to the original lab owner from China. So that raises the specter of what was actually going on in this lab. They don't think we have many answers, but I do think it really speaks to the fact that when you're talking about biological materials, there's really a poor understanding of where they all exist, even though we have things like the select agent rule and they're supposed to be registered. And obviously, Ebola is a select agent and needs to be registered by the FBI, CDC, USDA. There's still not a good understanding of where all this material might be. I don't actually think that Ebola was there. The CDC didn't test any of this material, but it was just a label and it might have just been put there for shock value. But I think what this speaks to is the fact that people underappreciate biological threats or how easy it might be to get your hands on certain biological materials. And I think they also underestimate people's willingness to use these things for nefarious purposes. That doesn't mean that this was about that. It just underscores that need. And this might have just been a fraudulent COVID testing operation that was run amok. But no matter what, it really stresses the need for better biosecurity and more attention to this from policymakers.